Oh, hey, are you also here to watch the bestest movie in history, Morbius? Wait, this is a theater? Oh, what are we watching then? The Sleeping Dog? What's that? You know what? You don't need to answer. I have something better to watch. Yes, that's right. It's my quick breakdown of the new Aurorians. But before we actually do that and I continue telling you if today's play's actors are worth hiring or not, let me quickly pause for some seconds to thank my channel members. Thank you guys so much for supporting me, and of course also an extra huge thank you to the Grand Warlock. Back to our newest theater kits that are going to make you go insane. Literally, as they make use of the newest mechanic called Sanity System. And small side note, this mechanic is in effect A, during the event, and B, whenever you have an Aurorian that uses the system in your team. Which means that this system, after this event, is solely tied to these new units, which is pretty much either awful or really good. But why? Well, let me tell you what this does. This adds a brand new 100-point sanity bar to the game. It has a bunch of pretty much negative effects the lower it gets. But there's a single upside to this. Below 80, the first debuff, aka the 10% death reduce and poison stack, will also apply to your enemies. Which means that this is pretty much the sweet spot right there. Let me now finally help you gain some knowledge on these new characters by quickly evaluating them, telling you if they're worth it or not. And to play by the normal curtain call rules, let's start with our female protagonist, the Forest 6-star Lenore. Yes, another Forest character. Yes, another detonator. Doc, that's the 7th time you brought a Forest detonator to class. Well, anyway. What that means is not only that she literally has to be a Zur tier, else she is pretty much useless, but before judging too quickly, let's just look at what she does. Her active skill with a CD of 1 and preemptive strike lets you select 2 tiles. One as starting point and another one in a surrounding cluster around the other one as an end point, forming a small rectangle that deals 333% damage. Which at first sounds like a great AoE damage skill versus 4-tile foes, until we read the next line. That says that subsequent hits are reduced to only 33% damage. Plus, you reduce your sanity by 3 per tile this attack covered. Meaning, at the max possible shape, which is a 3x3 rectangle, you cover 9 tiles. Aka, this costs you 27 sanity points, getting you directly into that sweet below 80. Which is not too bad, but don't get too excited yet, because her chain might wipe that smile off your face. Why? Well, while it might start normal with a at 5 starting row chain, that can increase its damage up to double based on low sanity to make up for its low scaling and her, let's call it, interesting attack stat, but her last chain starts at 33. Yes, you heard me right, I didn't stutter, I didn't read this incorrectly, it's 33. But at least it's 5 rows, right? That's a lot of coverage. But yeah, this can only be really used by getting your sanity below 75, as this will reduce it to only 15, making it at least bearable and usable. But if you are an insane gamer, literally, its triggering requirement is reduced to only 5. That's insane. Okay, I'm going to stop. But think back to her active. At max, it can get rid of 27 sanity points. So that means you need to use it 4 times. That combined with her CD and preemptive strike means you need about 6 turns to get this to a 5 chain. Plus, you also reap the fruits of your greed by now being insane at being constantly poisoned and stalked by annoying little sims throwing true damage at you. TLDR, this is high risk, high reward, aka not really needed in Forest. While this can deal crazy damage on area level or even slightly more, it has a crazy long ramp up time that just pales in comparison to other Forest damage dealers. Plus, that kind of coverage is not really needed right now. But let's see if her EQ can make her more valuable. Nope, it doesn't. This deals constant damage, but based on your max HP, which usually is gonna be around max 50k-ish, aka only 5k damage, but only if you're literally the Joker. So what can I say? Lenore is a forest detonator, which is bad. She needs to be insane to be actually... don't do it. Insane, which is pretty rough. Not only does it take a while to get there, you also are at the brink of death quite often, thanks to multiple annoying mirages ganging up on you, permanent 5 stacks of poison, and you also taking about 5,000,000% more damage, making a healer in your team kinda necessary to run her properly. And no, May, funnily enough, might not be the best option, as you do want to stay insane, truly a zero sanity moment. So, while she has the potential to be the strongest DPS in Forest, it takes way too much work to get running. Meaning this is pretty much a Yao situation too, Electric Boogaloo. And also that she is pretty much strong-ish. As you can't ignore that she, through the Sanity System, supplies you with a death threat and also some poison application on enemies. But all of this comes coupled with a strong recommendation for me to not roll for her, unless you really like her design or something, as generally more damage in forests is something nobody really needs unless you're working in some deforestation company. But let's just move on to the second 6-star of this batch. The realest theater kid of them all, the fire sniper, Giles. Let's make this quick. He's fire, so he's probably garbage. Wait, hold on a minute. What if Turtok actually released a good fire sniper? Can you, for about a couple of minutes, imagine that? But before I tell you why I think that might be a possibility, let's look at what he has to offer. His active skill with a 0-turn CD lets you sacrifice 15 points of your sanity to deal 333% damage to a cross shape minus the center tile. And if you're wondering, why again this specific number? Well, Turtok is simply cranking the edginess to 200% this time around. Because guess what double 333 is? Speaking of double, you also double your damage if you target yourself with the center tile of this active. Pretty cool. And now comes the plagiarizing part. What do I mean? Well, he just simply stole Chandra's script and turned it into his own movie. AKA his active skill also resets when killing an enemy, also doubling its final damage for the next cast at the cost of double the sanity points. Yes, it doubles every time in one turn, up to a maximum of... technically infinite points, which means that it can't really be infinitely spammed, unlike Chandra's. But what it can do is dealing a whole lot of damage, as this is literally... don't roll your eyes, okay? Insane. Because the damage numbers you can get with this active are beyond anything we've seen before. I'm talking 30k upwards per hit tile. Thanks to his double damage on active reset, plus damage buff on Mirage Kill provided by his EQ, which thankfully instantly die in one hit, making this crazy good when below 50, as you now have 3 damage providers every turn, a death threat and 3 poison. But don't forget that you can pretty much only use this 3 times in one turn, which also will put you in a miserable state, so Novio is pretty much your best friend. But if you thought that was already good, let's see his chain, because it's a pretty unique one, as it only hits the target with the lowest HP percentage-wise on the field, but twice, and even more often if you are below 60 and or 25 sanity, which means that you pretty much want to be below these thresholds to get crazy damage, as this chain, despite the small damage reduction, is the single best single target chain, even beating out a critting Mythos at only his first chain when you include his buffs. Yes, that's right. He's not only a way better Frostfire, but also a power-crept Mythos. I think I'm already in the insane state right now, because I can't believe that we in 2022 are looking at a good fire character that is also a sniper. So, what's there to say? He's the Joker, baby. Unlike Lenore, he doesn't make me go insane, but instead your enemies, as he has an insanely high damage output skill that can reset like Chandra's, plus he doesn't rely as much on super low sanity, which means you can stay above 20 if you want, and the biggest thing of them all, this chain is dumb good. Yes, my dear watchers, we're looking at a strong, let me say, really strong fire sniper. What a time to be alive. So yeah, if you want a good fire character and one of the best damage dealers in the game, I would probably think about getting him, as he's not only indirectly a poison applier and death reducer through the Sanity System itself, but also the best single target and skill damage dealer in the game, which possibly might even make him a contender for core. But that we will discuss during his thorough review. Anyway, TLDR of these two banners. Lenore, pretty high risk but also high reward, as she can dish out damage superior to area in the long run, but that's not really needed as Forest kills everything before you might even think about using her, so don't roll. Giles, the first potentially insane core tier fire DPS character in ages, and potentially the only one ever. And yes, I know anniversaries around the corner, but I do sadly still have to say, is worth rolling for. So if you have some leftovers, maybe try your luck, but don't go too hard unless you're a fire main. And that was all. Have a nice day and see you next time.